Okay, now we're going to go over some of the components on the machine and how to maintain them, how they work, just so that you can have the information on hand when you go to work on this machine. So starting at the back end of this machine, we've got some inch and 15/16 bearings here. For the chain's an 81X chain. It's got 2 aluminum dogs on each side of the machine. The dogs are homed every time they come around by this sensor right here. You can find a dog in the control, which we'll talk about later. The chain moves down the line here. This is your kickback, so it will need to be set slightly above your board height so that if a board ever got in the machine and wanted to kick back, it can't kick back to the user, so that will have to be moved every time you change the thickness of your board. Inside here is your tool, which we'll open up here, and like I said, it's got a 3.5-inch Great Lakes tool with replaceable teeth that we will talk about later. The spindle on this machine uses 2 and 7/16 inch bearings that need to be checked. Their grease needs to be checked on them probably twice a week, I would say. Make sure that they're greased up but not over greased. You can look at the Seal Master manual to know how much that you should grease that. The pulleys for the machine are in here. They run a B belt, so you can pull that apart, see what pulleys are in there. That's going to hook your motor to your spindle. This is a homing switch. This is so that when the head comes up, that it can home and know the absolute position of the spindle at all times. This is your servo for your Y-axis. Your Y-axis is what moves the head up and down. There's a timing belt in there, an 800mm by 30mm timing belt with 2 timing pulleys. You can pull the cap off there, see what that is. This is your X-axis drive. It has a Lovejoy couple to this 20-to-1 Grove gearbox. This machine features on each end 2 10-teeth 81X sprockets. Now let's pull the cover off and we'll show you what's inside. Now that we have the cover off this machine, I wanted to show you the cutter head. Like I said, this is a Great Lakes 3.5-inch cutter with changeable teeth. You can get a new tooth service by popping each of these teeth off and rotating it 90 degrees. There's 4 wearable surfaces on each of these teeth. So right now this machine is set up for cutting 4-inch material. If we want to set it up to bring it down to that 1.5-inch material, all we have to do is take the fins that are located right here on the machine, and these, we'll have to turn these 90 degrees, and then we'll put the fins in place, and the fins will go in these tapped holes inside the hood. There's also 2 for your accumulation as well. I do want to show you some more features on this control. In the last video that we'll put a link to on the top, we've got all the parameters that we put in here to make a Raggle stick, and then we ran that, which we'll all see on the video. But on the control screen, I wanted to talk about some other features. Right here, this is giving us our actual position. The X position will keep going as the chain moves, but the Y position is relative to the homing switch here. We can home this machine by hitting home all. When we hit home all, it's going to tell us the cycle start. Our Y-axis is going to move up to that sensor. Now it knows the absolute position of the head. There's times too that we'll want to be able to find a dog. So when we say find a dog, that means that we want to know the actual position of the aluminum dog that's carrying the board. So we can hit find dog. This chain will spin until a dog comes in front of the sensor. Right here, our dog sensor's been met, so our dog's been found. We can jog each of our axes up and down with a jog rate knob here to turn that up and down. We'll jog our Y down, turn that down by feathering that, bring it back up, make it faster. We can jog our X like the same way. And we can control that speed again with our jog rate knob. Okay. So, also while we're in the program, we can override the feed. Right now our feed rate is 250 inches per minute, and it's at 110% override. By turning this feed override knob up and down, we can turn our total feed for the whole machine up and down while it's in the middle of running a program. So if you get in the middle of running a program and you're saying, hey, I think we can get this running faster, we can override that feed, 150, 160, 170%. That's just some other things that I wanted to talk about the control.